Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about another digital audio player. So this is the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch, and this is a pretty high-end digital audio player. Came out originally in 2018. So Lotoo is a Chinese company that makes, actually originally they were making these professional recording devices. So they actually still do. They make like a lot of these voice recorders that are very professional, very high-end. And they also make music players as well. They made the Lotoo PAW 6000 and the PAW Gold as well. And this is essentially their first touchscreen device, which came out back in 2018. So yes, it is an old audio player. I still got it because I want to check them out. Because the thing is, I guess as an audiophile, I always want to check things out. And Lotoo is so far one of the only brands of digital audio players I've never featured on my channel before. So I've done videos on a lot of different audio players on my channel, right? I've done Creative Zens, if you go all the way back, iPod, Zune, and then if you go to the high-end digital audio players, Astell and Kern, I've done a few of those. Yeah, I've done Shanling and FIO and iBasso and Kayin, Hybe, yeah, all these Chinese digital audio players. And yeah, one of the only ones I haven't done yet is Lotoo. I've even done Luxury and Precision, which is a very, very high-end luxury digital audio player brand, also from China. And I figured, okay, Lotoo is an interesting one. I actually tested out the Lotoo GT2 before, which is the successor to this one that came out recently. I really liked it, but unfortunately it was a little bit too bulky for me. I want to get something that is pocketable, because for me, if you're getting a digital audio player, it should be very portable, right? Unfortunately, most of the flagship digital audio players these days are very big. So if you look at the FIO M27, iBasso DX340, the Kayin N82, even the upcoming Hybe RS8 II, they're just way too big. And I don't want to carry around a really, really big player. Right, Shanling M8T, same thing, way too big. So I was looking at the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch, the first one, not the second one, and yeah, this one is actually a really, really good size. It's very pocketable, actually, even though it is definitely on the thick side, but that's fine. It's thick, but it's still very, very like I can just hold it in my hand like this, right? Still very grippable, and just the overall dimensions is very pocketable. So I do like the size of this player. If I were to compare it, I have my Astell Kern SP3000M right here for comparison, which is also a very portable player. And surprisingly, they're pretty close, right? If I were to compare it, so you guys can see that dimensions-wise, actually, yeah, it's fairly comparable, right? Thickness-wise, I think the PAW Gold Touch is like a little bit thicker, but not by much. I mean, the SP3000M was already pretty thick, 19 millimeters, and the PAW Gold Touch is like 22 millimeters, I believe. So it's a little bit thicker, but they're both pretty thick. But if you look at the overall dimensions here, right, like the width and length of the device and height, pretty similar. Yeah. It's almost like exactly the same in terms of dimensions. So if you guys think of high-end digital audio players on the market today, the SP3000M is one of the most pocketable DAPs that have a kind of a flagship DAC inside of it. And same thing with the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch. Of course, the PAW Gold Touch being an older device. The SP3000M came out just last year, 2024. And this is the copper nickel version, which is even more expensive. So the SP3000M retails for, this is the copper nickel version, which retails for $3,000 US almost. Very, very expensive, but also very, very high-end looking. You can tell. This brushed, yeah, copper steel look, copper nickel look, sorry. Yeah, if you just can tell, like even the quality of the crown that Astell Kern has is incredible. Like it looks like a watch crown, a luxury watch crown that is. Yeah, so you can tell that the Astell Kern for their high-end players, the especially like this is the AN Ultima player, right? So this is their highest line of digital audio players. They definitely put a lot of attention to the appearance and build of their devices. So yeah, you are paying a premium price for this, $3,000, but you get a premium build along with it. The Lotoo doesn't have as quite of a premium build. The original PAW Gold Touch, this one when it was first released, came out for $3,200, I believe. So definitely pretty high end when it came out. Of course, it's an old player now, so I got it for a discount. I got this one for 1,300, so it's a big discount because this thing came out a while ago. However, I still wanted to check it out because it still does have a pretty nice DAC inside of it. It has an AK4497, which is Asahi Kasei's previous generation flagship. They currently have the AK4499, which is what the SP3000M uses. So I was curious to compare these two as well. You know, they're both nice and pocketable players. Of course, the SP3000M is newer. It has 4 AK4499 EX DACs inside of it, whereas the Lotoo only has 1 AK4497. So you would think that the SP3000M would sound better, but we'll see. Because the AK4497 is still a very capable chip as well. And if you look at the outer dimensions here, yeah, on the left side there's nothing. On the right side you have power button, previous track, next track, and play pause right here. You have standard media controls on a DAP. Up here on top, yep, you get the balanced phone or line out, which is 4.4 millimeter. That's what you would expect for a modern type of DAP, even though at this time 2.5 was still kind of popular, but Lotoo went with a 4.4, which is a nice little move because now you guys can see that 4.4 basically won over 2.5. So it's good that they have the 4.4 now, because that's where most balanced cables use now for digital audio players. Okay, and you got your regular 3.5 millimeter right there, and you get this nice little wheel right here. Right, so this is a volume dial that's nice and textured and has the Apollo kind of graphic on it that Lotoo uses on their players. Yeah, and then on the bottom here, you interestingly enough, you have a full-size SD card slot, not a micro SD. So that's a big difference between this and a lot of other digital audio players, a full-size SD card slot. But it's fine if you have a micro SD, you just plug it into a full-size adapter. So no big deal, but it's interesting that they use a full-size, like a camera or something, and a USB-C charging port right there. So yeah, overall, I'm already more satisfied with this player than with the Luxury and Precision E7, because when I did my previous video on the E7, I paid like $2,500 for that one. That was the most I ever paid for an audio product. Even though the retail price for that one was $4,100, it's incredibly expensive audio player and really kind of disappointed me in a lot of ways. But the PAW Gold Touch so far, I mean, it's actually a little bit smaller. I don't have the E7 anymore. I sold that one pretty fast because honestly, I just couldn't stand that interface. But already I can tell the hardware, right? It already feels a little bit better than the E7, and it has like, at least the volume dial has like these nice little textured notches, which is more than what I can say for the E7's knob. In the back, made in China, of course, they're a Chinese company. And yeah, already I'm getting good vibes from this, better than I got for the E7. Even though the E7 had 2 4497s, this one only has 1. But this one is definitely a lot cheaper than the E7. The E7 came out last year. This one came out in 2018. Funny enough, right? The E7 is using an old DAC chip, even though it came out fairly recently. Of course, the E7 has swappable DAC modules. This one does not, but that's also a really expensive thing about the E7, because you need to pay like $1,000 if you want to swap out the DAC modules. And yeah, the operating system, Lotoo uses its own operating system, so it does not use Android. It uses its own custom operating system called LTOS or Lotoo OS. That's also similar to the Luxury and Precision devices, which use their own operating system as well, the LPOS. I did not like the operating system on the Luxury and Precision E7 at all. It was laggy, it was slow, it couldn't do many things. Didn't have Wi-Fi or streaming, didn't have built-in storage. Actually, some of that the Lotoo does have as well. The Lotoo doesn't have... Actually, yeah, I don't think that this has built-in storage either. So that's kind of a drawback. But yeah, the user interface I hope is better on the Lotoo, because, man, the Luxury and Precision is one of the worst UIs I've ever used. And it's even worse than some of the first generation Astell Kern UIs, which are pretty bad. So yeah, that was already that's a pretty low bar, I would say. So anyways, did not have a good experience with the expensive Luxury and Precision E7 interface. That was the main issue with it. It has pretty good sound quality, but other than that, nothing else was going for it. I hope the the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch can be better and not disappoint me as much. At the very least, I didn't pay as much for this one, right? So this is an older player. I paid 1,300, which is still a lot of money, but definitely less than what I paid for the E7. So hopefully this won't disappoint me like the E7 did. Yeah, compared to Astell Kern, I mean, definitely the Astell Kern still has better build quality. I mean, you can just, this thing is just built so nicely and so sleek. I still kind of prefer the crown on the Astell Kern the most out of any digital audio player. They just put so much attention on it. Just, yeah, it just looks like a high-end luxury watch crown. Yeah, I really like the copper nickel version. I don't, never tried the regular version, but since I own the copper nickel version, yeah, it's really nice premium feeling player here. So this is pretty much going to be the standard that the Lotoo has to beat, essentially. And the operating system for Astell Kern is essentially a heavily skinned version of Android, which is almost the same as a custom operating system, honestly. But they do let you use some apps with it, and it does have built-in storage and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and everything. So it has all that going for it, and we'll see how the Lotoo compares, because yeah, I'll be checking out the operating system on this and seeing how it compares. Hopefully, at least it should be better than the Luxury Precision one, I hope. Yeah, and oh yeah, in terms of power, so the output power for the Lotoo out of both jacks is 500 milliwatts, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it should still be enough to drive most headphones on the market, except if you have like a really hard to drive planar magnetic headphone, if you have like Sennheiser HD800s, not sure how well it'll drive those. But 500 milliwatts should be enough to drive most headphones on the market, full-size headphones and IEMs on the market as well. Yeah, like pretty much almost all the IEMs on the market should be able to drive fine, except if you have something like the $6,000 Subtonic Storm. I'm not sure about that one, but that's like in the 1%, right? So anyways, yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to take a look at the operating system UI, kind of compare them, but essentially I'm going to have to choose between one of these. I think both of these, at least the size is really good. They're both really nice and compact. I know they're both thick, right? They're both thick boys, but at least they're both nice and compact, and you can easily hold it in your hand like this. So in terms of dimensions, it's pretty good, and the DACs are pretty nice too, right? The flagship, the old flagship AKM DAC 4497 and the newer AKM flagship DAC, the 4499. You might think that, oh, just, you know, SP3000M should sound better because it has a newer DAC and has 4 of them. Well, we'll see, right? That's not always the case. It really depends on the implementation. So I've heard that the Gold Touch is really sounds really nice as well. This one built in Korea, of course, is a Korean brand. This one built in China, being a Chinese brand. Yeah, and in terms of appearance, I think I still prefer the Astell Kern copper nickel version because it just feels so premium, right? Almost looks like stainless steel, actually. With the sides and everything here. The crown, I mean, the Lotoo has one up top here, which is the way that Hy-Vee does it as well. And then the Luxury and Precision do it this way as well. They put it on top, and it's still fine. It's nice and clicky. The Astell Kern one has it on the sides. I mean, they both feel pretty good. I might still prefer the Astell Kern one just because I really like, yeah, this really luxury dial looking thing. Let me zoom in on that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so you guys can tell just how much machining was put into this crown, right? Just feels really nice. But the Lotoo is definitely pretty decent as well. Nice clicky feeling. So anyways, yeah, the Astell Kern still does feel more premium. But yeah, we'll see. The operating system does matter a lot for me, so that's pretty much the main reason why I had to get rid of the Luxury and Precision E7 as soon as possible, because it was basically unusable for me in terms of the operating system. Yeah, we'll see. And of course, they both come with their own leather cases as well, which I usually use them with. The SP3000M comes with this Gruppo Mastrato, which is a high-end Italian leather brand. Leather case from them, fits it pretty well. And Lotoo comes with their own leather case as well. On the back it says PAW Gold Touch on it. So yeah, and this Astell Kern does not say A&L Ultima. It's SP3000M. So, but it does kind of duplicate the back texture, right? So if you guys can't see the back texture on it, I know it's kind of hard to see, but on the leather case, it's a little bit easier to see that back texture there. So anyways, both coming with their own leather cases, so I'll be using it with their leather cases as well. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to compare the I'll compare the operating systems of the two, because that's pretty important, and then I'll do my subjective impressions of the sound quality, because that's obviously one of the main reasons you would get one of these things. And then yeah, I'll also do a sound comparison test as well, kind of feeding it into a headphone, into a microphone, and then test it out. So stay tuned, guys. Okay, so now I have both of these DAPs all charged up and ready to boot up. First, I want to show you guys the difference in boot times here. So I'm going to boot up the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch. You guys can see how fast it boots up, right? And I'll boot up the Astell Kern. Okay, that booted up in just a few seconds, right? Now let's wait for the Astell Kern. Just to show you guys the difference in boot up speed, the Lotoo is much faster, right? This only took a few seconds. The Astell Kern will take, well, not quite a minute, but it will definitely, you know, take a lot longer than the Lotoo. Definitely somewhere closer to like maybe 30 seconds. Yeah, okay. So, and then it has to kind of initialize the tracks and everything. And by the way, I loaded fresh micro SD cards for both of them, containing pretty much the same songs. I had like 14,000 songs on each micro SD card. So once you put in the micro SD card for the Astell Kern, it will start scanning. Took about maybe 20 minutes or so for that to finish scanning. The Lotoo was just immediate. There was absolutely like, I just put in the card and then it just, every artist is just immediately loaded. There was like almost no speed in loading the artist, which is incredible actually. Yeah, I just put in fresh SD cards into both of them. The Lotoo took almost no time to load all the tracks, and the Astell Kern took like 20 minutes to index them. So that's a difference in speed again. By the way, the Luxury and Precision E7 for comparison took about 30 minutes to index those, so even longer than the Astell Kern. Also forgot to talk about the difference in display size. Yeah, so the Lotoo is fairly low resolution. It's a 3.8-inch screen with 800 by 480 resolution, I think. So definitely a little bit low resolution, whereas the Astell Kern is a 4.1-inch screen with 1280 by 720 resolution. So this is a HD screen, right? 720p. This is like a 480p screen, like DVD quality, basically. So yes, in terms of screen sharpness, the Astell Kern would definitely look better. So now let's look about how we go about the interface here, okay? So this is the Lotoo interface, the LTOS. It is a fairly simple operating system. So not Android, so nothing fancy or anything like that. I would say in general, it's quite responsive. So you can go by playlist here, which I don't have anything added. You can go by album list. So these are all the albums that are in my SD card, kind of sorted right there. And then songs. Yeah, this is basically all the songs sorted right there. That's a lot. I don't think I'll ever go there because, like, yeah, there's tons of songs there. Folders, if you want to just go folder by folder in the SD card, which can be useful sometimes if it doesn't properly index the song or the album, then you can just go by folder there instead on your SD card. You can do that. Artist, of course, will index it by artist. And then settings, of course, will be settings. So you can take a look at the settings here. So play setting, you can either do like the loop, different tracks, shuffle, repeat, or go by sequence. Sleep timer, you can show the lyrics on the screen. You can go by gapless playback. You can turn that on and off. Output setting, so yeah, you can choose output type here, line out, or just, you know, amplified output. Output gain, so I have it on high gain right now. I can switch to low gain. If I'm using IEMs, I'll probably go with low gain. If I use full-size headphones, I'll probably go high gain. Whoops, this is too easy to accidentally hit. You can adjust the LR balance here. Now, I haven't had to use this in practice. I think every digital audio player has something like this. We can adjust the left and right balance. I think maybe if there's a balance mismatch in your IEMs or headphones for some reason, like if you have like kind of like a faulty pair of headphones where one side is like you know, has more volume than the other, you can fix it here essentially through software. But I haven't really had too much of an issue with my headphones. But if you have like I know there's some headphones that have some quality issues where they like the layers like channel imbalance basically. If there's channel imbalance, then you can kind of fix it in the software here. You can even change the amount of voltage that you output through the line out. Bluetooth volume, which by the way, this does have Bluetooth. It has Bluetooth 4.1 and it supports LDAC, which is good. I don't think it supports aptX, so I'm not sure if it supports aptX or not, but it's Bluetooth 4.1 and it supports LDAC. That's pretty much what you need to know there. DSD play setting, I don't play DSDs. Audio output through DSD or PCM, I guess. You can switch between the two. MQA pass-through and a VU meter. Pre-fader, post-fader, interesting. Player settings, so you can have it breathe light. So yeah, this has a little LED light where it could kind of like throb, so that's pretty interesting. I mean, I've seen a similar thing with the Astell Kern players as well, the SP300 or the SP3000, not the M. Mine doesn't have it because the M version doesn't have it, but the full-size Astell Kern players will have a throbbing light as well. Double click, key locked, screen flipping, optimized charging. The volume key, you can choose whether or not it increases volume this way or the other way, depends on how you rotate it. And yes, this is how the volume screen is like. Yeah, you can choose whether like anti-clockwise or clockwise increases the volume. Auto power off, screen off, language select, swap the side buttons. I can change the keyboard and the UI theme color as well. So yeah, I have it kind of a black here, but you can change it to, yeah, I'm just keeping it standard black. Yeah, okay, I went through these already. Okay, hardware decode is auto. EQ setting, so this has a full parametric EQ built in, which is pretty nice. Like I added one for the Shure KSA1200 because that does need EQ, but if you ever need to add one, you can just go here and you can click add, and then you can add a new EQ there. And it has built-in ones for like the Sony Z1R and some other ones too. If I go to EQ here, then you kind of go by, yeah, different frequencies. You can adjust a lot of things here, LSF, HPF, BPF, and then you can adjust by different frequency, the gains, the Q level. It's pretty powerful. I actually have to do some more research on how to do this parametric EQ because I haven't done too much of it, yeah. You can adjust it all here. So for you guys who like parametric EQ, it's a very, very powerful tool that you can use to shape the frequency response. Then there is that there. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good feature that's built into the Lotoo. And ATE, there's different settings here: bright, sweet, dental. Dental is a weird name. Style 70199 diffuse field. You can kind of feel, it feels like this is also kind of like an EQ setting as well, but I haven't played around with this ATE setting. Filter, DSD filter can be normal or extended. In PCM, I'm going to stick with the short delay sharp roll off because that's what I have on my SP3000M as well, but you can kind of change this, but I don't know if there's any big differences. Probably not. XRC settings, this is essentially the similar to the Astell and Kern DAR feature. So DAR feature in Astell and Kern will kind of upsample the music to a higher frequency or a higher resolution rate, sorry. So yeah, DAR mode on the Astell Kern will do that. Will upsample to a higher frequency or resolution, I should say. And this XRC is a similar feature. It will upsample your music to a higher resolution. So for PCM, I have it set to 384 kilohertz, and DSD will upsample it to 11.2 megahertz, which is pretty massive. But you know, I even think 192 could be good. It's like once you go up higher resolution, higher bit rates, I doubt people can tell the differences. If you want to save on battery life, it's better probably not to do this and disable the XRC entirely. I know to save some battery life, you can probably disable DAR on the Astell Kern as well. Yeah, if you guys don't hear a difference, that is. Some people do hear a difference, so I'll just leave it on. Bluetooth, you can turn on or off, of course. Bluetooth DAC, it's a bi-sync DAC, so you can kind of, because it's two-way, that means you can also use a Bluetooth device to kind of stream to this player as well. So it's a bi-sync Bluetooth. So yeah, no internal storage on this thing, unfortunately. So you just get the SD card. And then you can change the name, software version, wireless version. By the way, this thing does have Wi-Fi, but it's only used for updating the firmware. So if I go to online update, it's my version. I'm at the latest version, but yeah, this is the only time it uses Wi-Fi. So if you want to do manual setting, this is basically where you set the Wi-Fi here. But yeah, the only time you use Wi-Fi on this device is for updating firmware. It doesn't do any kind of streaming whatsoever. So if you guys stream music, tough luck on the Lotoo. At least with the Astell Kern, even though it's closed, you can still use services, and then it'll still have Tidal, VLink, which is YouTube, Rune, Spotify, Amazon Music, Qobuz, Deezer, Apple Music, yeah, Yandex. Like, you have a bunch of different services that you can still download with the Astell Kern, even though it's a little bit limited as well. But at least you have the streaming services here, right? So if you use Spotify or Tidal, Qobuz or Deezer, Amazon Music, that's all available here on Astell Kern at least. Yeah, no such luck on the Lotoo. No streaming services supported. But that's fine for me because I don't really stream anyways. I have all my music in local files. So for me, it doesn't affect me. But if you guys stream music, then Lotoo will probably not be for you. Yeah, that's it for the settings. Now, when you actually do searching for music, you actually have to pull down from the top. So you pull down from the top to do searching. I know it's a little bit unintuitive because originally, oops, that's brightness. Originally, I wanted to like with the Astell Kern, how you do searching is, yeah, you just go to the search bar up here and you type a name, right? Say, I want to type in like Moonlight by Ariana Grande, right? The song. So like search for that and Moonlight shows up, right? And then that's how I can play it just like that, right? And the music player for the interface for the Astell Kern is fine. You can see like the resolution rate. You can see lyrics when you click into it. There's no lyrics there. You can kind of have it on repeat or shuffle right there. Yeah, and basically it's a pretty decent interface, I would say. And it's okay. Like, the thing is, you can't even do searching on this main little CD cover setting. You have to go into this interface and then do the search. And it's reasonably responsive, with the SP3000M. I know with the SC300, their lower end version DAPs, like, it's pretty slow and laggy. So the interface for the Astell Kern is not great, especially on their lower end players. But on their higher end players like the SP3000, then it's actually pretty decent. And yeah, it's reasonably responsive. And I can search, yeah, like Le Seraphim, for example. Search here, wait a bit, and yeah, if this was the SC300, it would definitely take longer than that. So I didn't really experience too much lag on the SP3000M, right? You kind of click into stuff, go to album. Yeah, see, it's fairly fast on the SP3000M. So Lotoo, let's compare. So if I want to search for what Moonlight again, right? So what it does is, yeah, you have to search up here and then it'll kind of organize the music right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me like the artist here, so I kind of have to guess that this one is the Ariana Grande one. And I click this one and okay, yeah, I kind of have to do a little bit of guesswork there. So it's a little bit annoying. The music player interface is a little bit more basic compared to the Astell Kern. So actually I can just go back to Moonlight by doing this. Okay, just not something you can do on Lotoo. Okay, so you can compare the music player interface here. Definitely a little bit more basic looking on the Lotoo for sure. You can still see the lyrics, right? If you scroll by, this one has no lyrics, and then you can kind of see the specs of the track right here, the bit rate, sample rate, and everything. And then you can see parametric EQ, which, by the way, if I start playing it, then it'll show the yeah, you'll start showing the parametric EQ here, and then also like all the different frequencies, what's happening here, as well as the left and right channel balance, whether or not I have XRC on or not, and then the file bit rate and sample rate and everything. So that's cool. If I want to go back to the album cover, I just do that. You can favorite it. You can kind of shuffle, or you can do a repeat, something like that. I can add to the playlist here. Yeah, so it'll tell you the file type here. So it's basic, but it'll have everything that you need. Still better than the Luxury Precision E7 interface, by the way. That one is pretty crap in my opinion. So it's still better than that. And by the way, in order to go back home, I think this is the only time you can kind of go back home, is like you can just go up from the bottom. So of course you have your basic media player controls here, but you can just go up from the bottom here. Yeah, basically like that. I find it's like a little bit easy. Maybe accidentally hit that play button, but you just go like that, and then you're back on the home screen. And that's, I think, the only time you can do that. Like in every other, actually no, you can do that from the artist too. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you do that little flick gesture, you can kind of go back like that from any page. But yeah, a little bit unintuitive for the search, right? You got to pull down from the top because I'm used to just going into like something like songs, right? I want to search on top here, but it doesn't work. There's no dedicated search menu here. I had to pull down from the top, and this searches everything, right? If I want to go Le Seraphim, for example, go here, and there's a little bit of a quirk here as well. So like here, right? It'll organize by artist and songs here. So I found the artist and I found the songs, which is good. But then if I go into like artist here, right? 4 albums. Okay, found all the albums, which is nice. But then songs, for some reason, it doesn't find all the songs. Like there's more songs than this, which it was showing when I did the full search. But now it's not showing all the songs for some reason. And it should be showing me all the songs, right? Like, okay, it has my search history. I go here. And yeah, see here, it has all the songs when I search here. But then when I go into the artist mode, it doesn't. So that's weird, right? I don't know why it doesn't show me all the songs from here. It shows me just a limited amount. I'm not sure what happened there. Also, another thing to note is like, say I search for, yeah, let's go to Seraphim and let's, play a song here. Okay. Now, if I want to go back, if I want to use the previous play, previous button or next button, it doesn't go back, because it's not in a playlist and it's not in an album. It's just, I just selected a song, right? It's not part of a playlist or an album, so pressing previous or next doesn't do anything. Whereas on the Astell Kern, if you can go previous and back, you can actually go to the previous song you played or the next song that you just played. It doesn't matter whether it's part of a playlist or an album or not. It'll just go right back to the previous song that you just selected, or the next song that you played before, which is really convenient. Lotoo doesn't have that setting. I know technically previous and next is not supposed to do that. Previous and next is supposed to go to the next song in the playlist or the album. I know. So maybe the way that Lotoo behaves is fine. Like that's what the next and previous buttons are supposed to do. They're not technically supposed to just give you the previous song that you just played, but I know it's just a nice little extra feature that the Astell Kern has. Yeah, so the Astell Kern has that extra nice feature with the next and previous buttons that the Lotoo does not have. But that's just a kind of a nitpick, I know that next and previous are not supposed to do that technically. So yeah, other than that, you can see that you can go single, sequence, you can kind of adjust the song settings from here as well. Bluetooth, volume hold, you can do 4.4, high gain or low gain here from the balanced, or a high gain and low gain from the unbalanced. XRC, which is the upsampling, headphone out or line out, you can adjust here. Brightness, more options, you can kind of if you want to have more options on the pull down menu, you can do that. Sleep timer, show lyrics, breathe light, output type, screen flipping and everything. So yeah, you can all do that from there. Let's go recent searches. Yeah, see, this is a kind of just an issue, right? Like technically it should save only the times where I stop typing. It should have like a debounce here where it gives me like a few seconds where, oh, you're actually finished typing, but instead it just saves every time you input a letter. So yeah, I wish it had kind of like a debounce handler here instead of just, on type of something, it saves it. Just a little nitpick again. So let's play something like this, for example. Okay. So yeah, as I'm playing, you can see the little light flashing here, right? So it's a little flashing light here. The LED ring around the volume control is pretty nice. Very responsive. Yeah. Overall, compared to the Luxury and Precision E7, I definitely prefer the Lotoo. It is very fast and responsive. I would say I haven't experienced any lag on this thing. It's definitely simple, but at least it's fast and responsive. I can't say that for the Luxury and Precision E7. That one was just, it was simple and it was not responsive and it was laggy and it was buggy and it crashed a lot. So that's just terrible, right? Especially since that player was like $4,100 retail. This is a cheaper player, an older player, and has a better UI that's more responsive. Even though it's not like full Android or anything, I still prefer kind of, if you give me full Android, that's better because I can do a lot more stuff with it. But fine, if you want to go with the simplistic music player interface, and go with a custom operating system, at least make it fast. That's going to be the benefit. Give me better battery life. Give me a faster interface. That's the trade-offs I would expect. for not giving me Android. So this one does it, you know, doesn't give me Android, you know, I don't have the full benefit of that, of having an open operating system where I can kind of install other apps. So you can't do that, but at the very least you get the benefits of having this custom operating system, which is the fast interface, fast boot up time, better battery life, etc. Right? I can tell the battery life is already pretty decent on this thing. So yeah, music player is basic, but it works. So overall, not too much to complain about. I just think that, okay, it is a simplistic interface. That's probably the thing. If you guys want to have a different type of music player, if you guys want to stream music, then yeah, then you're kind of out of luck. So that would be the only thing. But for me, for my use case, it's fine. Astell Kern has a fine music interface too. I would think that even though this is the flagship SP3000 series, and it's definitely faster than their previous lower end DAPs, it's still got a little bit of lag, right? So if I search for, like, let's go Lotoo on here, right? Okay, so you see how it waits a bit? Yeah, so you see how, like, there's like little circle, spinning circle. So you still gotta wait like a little bit for it to find stuff, right? In Lotoo, I have absolutely no lag whatsoever. So I go Lotoo, right? It's immediate feedback. So it's almost no wait time at all. So I would say the Lotoo interface is still a bit faster than the Astell Kerns, even though this is their kind of fastest interface that they have so far on the DAPs. But this is also skinned Android, so they do give you a little bit extra stuff too. Like you can still connect, you know, some streaming services and stuff. So that's the benefit of the Astell Kern stuff. But otherwise, yeah. The Astell Kern interface is has a little bit more features, right? I know they have the AK Connect stuff, Rune Ready, AK File Drop. Yeah, they have a few more features, a CD Ripper, USB mode, USB audio. Actually, you should be able to use the Lotoo as a USB DAC in another setting, probably car mode. Yeah, so there's definitely a few more settings on the Astell Kern. It's a little bit more fully featured than the Lotoo is. In terms of an interface, yeah, they're both pretty good. They're both very fast and responsive. The Lotoo's is a bit faster than the Astell Kerns, but the Astell Kern interface is a little bit more fully featured, basically. Neither of them are going to compare to a full Android interface, like on a Hy-B or a Shanling or a KN or FiO. So if you get one of those, if you want to have like a more open operating system, just get an Android player instead. That will have more features than either of these. But out of these two, yeah, I find that being the main difference. Lotoo, a little bit more simplistic, a little bit faster, and the Astell Kern, a little bit of lag sometimes, not too much. It's still, you know, fairly responsive, and more features on this one. Yeah, so that's really the difference between two. So in terms of UI, I think they're both fine for me. You know, people who like streaming, obviously Lotoo's not even an option. But for me, I think the Lotoo's fine since I listen to all my music offline. Now the difference is, let's look at the sound quality differences, okay? So stay tuned. I'm gonna listen to some songs on both of them and tell you guys my subjective impressions of the sound quality. So yeah, stay tuned. So a few more things about the player here. First of all, not only does the LED ring light up when you're playing music, but also you have this little cool animation here. So you got a nice little visualization that the track is actually playing even when you're on the main menu. So yeah, when you're on the main menu, you kind of see that it's playing there. Then for the EQ, let's go to the EQ settings. And I made one for the KSC 1200s. So yeah, looks like this. You have 5 main frequency targets that you can adjust, but you can actually fine tune it better than that. You can change the type BPF, HPF, and LSF. Whoops, that was accident. Okay, yeah, BPF, HPF, and LSF here. And then here you can actually adjust to the precise frequency that you want to adjust as well, which is nice. You can get very fine-tuned and then fine-grained with that. Adjusting the gain, of course, and then the Q setting as well, which honestly, I'm not good enough to exactly fiddle around too much with that. So compared to the AK equalizer, and I have the KSC 1200 pulled up here as well, you have a basic adjustment here where you can kind of go through all the frequencies from 30 hertz all the way up to 18K. So pretty decent when if you just want to adjust some individual frequency bands here. But if you go to advanced, then that's where you can kind of go a little bit more deeper, and then you can change the Q setting and everything. So Astell Kern actually has a pretty decent equalizer system as well. If you want to go to advanced, you can actually adjust all this. But Lotoo's parametric equalizer is pretty good, and yeah, definitely if you're looking for a solid EQ system, the Lotoo has it. So yeah, I just wanted to show the EQ setting, and if you want to use the EQ setting, what you do is you go to My Scheme, and then basically you can just choose, yeah, you can do New Scheme, and then you can kind of choose which EQ bands to put, well, which EQ settings, sorry, to add to this scheme. And then you make a new scheme that has your custom EQ setting in it. Then you change it to your scheme that you just created here. In my case, I just called it Scheme 1. And then when you go into the music player, to change the EQ, you just go up here. Let's see, just play it for a bit. Oops. Yeah. So right now it's not using any EQ, right? So actually up here, first of all, this is adding to playlist. If you want to add something to playlist, you can do that. This button here is what changes the EQ. So right now, since I have my scheme, which only has this one in it, I can change it to this EQ. There's also the built-in EQ settings, which are the brighter, sweet, dental, style 1, diffuse field stuff. You can change that as well. Those are the built-in EQ settings. But if you made a custom EQ, you can kind of add it to your own scheme, and then you change it here in the PM EQ. And just turn it off. But yeah, if you turn it on, like say I want to change it to KC 1200, then the EQ will apply. So that's how you apply. That's how you create an EQ scheme and apply it. So I just wanted to talk a bit about that. Yeah. By the way, both of these players, even though they're pretty easy to hold and very compact and portable, the Astell Kern SP3000M definitely weighs a little bit more than the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch. Like this one, I can feel like it's got substantial heft to it. And maybe that's because this is the copper nickel version, right? The regular aluminum version, I don't think weighs this much, but yeah, the copper nickel version definitely, it's very substantial feeling. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It does feel a bit more premium in the hand, but yeah, definitely it weighs more than the Lotoo. The Lotoo is definitely, even though the size is pretty similar, yeah, this is a little bit lighter for sure than the copper nickel version of SP3000M. Also, something that is probably going to be true is that the SP3000M, I think, doesn't really have as good battery life as the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch. So that's just because, well, first of all, it's running a skin version of Android. Android takes up more resources than a custom operating system like the LTOS, or it should anyways. You know, in the case of Luxury Precision E7, that one had less battery life even though it was a custom OS. So that one just didn't make sense. But this one, yeah, yeah, the Astell Kern SP3000M, the battery life's okay on it. It's not great. The Lotoo, I think, has better battery life. So anyways, I'm going to test out the songs. I'm going to be using the sound quality using my Dan Clark Nora X headphones. I'll be putting this to high gain on the balanced. So yeah, let's check it out. Actually, let's go with the SP3000M first. And play the same songs on each. I'm going to tell you guys how I feel about the sound quality. Just my own subjective impressions first. Okay. By the way, something that's rather specific to the Astell Kern interface is that the volume goes up to 150 steps. So you can go all the way to 150. That's something that is different than most digital audio players. Most digital audio players, you only go up to 100, like on the Lotoo as well. So yeah, that's something specific to Astell Kern though. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just Astell Kern has a little bit more fine-grained type of volume adjustment. So yeah, it's actually not a bad thing. You know, more volume steps mean more fine-grained tuning. So the Lotoo, just like other digital audio players, goes up to only 100 steps. This goes up to 150. So just keep that in mind. When I'm comparing the volume, it's probably going to be a little bit more volume steps on the Astell Kern because of that. Okay, Yeah, pretty interesting difference actually between these two. So the SP3000M I would consider a very reference neutral type of sound signature, and that's really the Astell Kern house sound, I believe. All the Astell Kern players I've listened to, yeah, SC100, SC300, and now the SP3000M, they all have a pretty fairly balanced neutral type of sound signature where, yeah, the music just sounds very uncolored. So I don't know. Some people say that Astell Kern, colors the sound signature. They have like, their own coloring of the sound. I don't think so. Like not to my ears, anyways. Like it feels pretty reference neutral to me. Very detailed, and nothing is really too elevated or recessed when I listen to music. And you might be saying, well, it's a DAP, right? It's an amp and a DAC. It's not supposed to affect the sound that much. Well, it depends, right? From what I've listened to, and I think other audiophiles might agree on this or disagree, but I think that it does have some digital audio players, they do have a noticeable effect on the sound in terms of coloring. But the Astell Kern players, especially the SP3000M, does not have that effect. It's very reference, very neutral, very lean. So some people might like it or dislike it, but it's very reference neutral. And for sure, some companies, some digital audio player companies, they want to make the sound more colored. That's why they put tubes in the DAP, right? So you have the models like the Shanling M8T or the KN N81 or N82. Those companies that put tubes inside of the DAP in order to color the sound. It's on purpose, right? So for sure, there are some companies that purposely try to color the sound. In the case of the Astell Kern SP3000M, it just delivers you the music in the truest possible way, very neutral, reference sounding, very detailed, and yeah, nothing is really too elevated or recessed. It just feels very neutral. And that's not a bad thing. That's really what Astell Kern is good for. If you want to listen to your music just the way it is presented to you in the best possible resolution and detail without anything coloring the tone, then yeah, the Astell Kern is good for that. The Lotoo GT2 is interesting. It reminds me a bit of the KN N7 that I actually did a review on maybe a couple months back. And I did that comparison with the SP3000M as well. And I think in that review, I was saying how, oh, the N7, the KN N7, it's like maybe 80% the detail of the Astell Kern. And it sounds more dynamic and lively. It definitely is a little bit more colored in the tone. Now that one had a 1-bit DAC, so that one, the DAC was just totally different anyways. It's a 1-bit DAC. So you would think with the AK4497 in this one, this is the AK4499, it'll be a little bit more similar, right? It's the same company that makes these chips, but actually they're quite different. So yeah, this is 4 AK4499 DACs inside of it. This one only has one AK4497. You might be thinking, well, that means SP3000M is superior. Well, I don't think so, actually. The AK4497 in this one sounds very, actually has a bit of a warmer tone to it, just like the N7. So just like the KN N7 has a more warmer type of tone to it, and it's more dynamic and fun feeling, just like the N7. I know when I read some reviews online, they say the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch is neutral, but I don't think it's neutral, at least not compared to the Astell Kern SP3000M. After comparing the two side by side, A/B testing using different songs and same songs, well, yeah, the SP3000M, relatively speaking, is more neutral than the PAW Gold Touch. The PAW Gold Touch, to me, is warmer. It's more energetic sounding. Like, I just feel like the bass is a little bit more noticeable. The treble is a little bit more noticeable on it. Notes kind of bloom, I guess, in a way. Whereas on the SP3000M, you'll hear the notes and they'll be like, okay, they'll come at you and they'll be detailed and everything, but they'll just quickly go away, right? So maybe they'll call these transients, maybe. I don't know. But the PAW Gold Touch, the notes kind of just bloom a little bit longer. They stay out a little bit longer. The soundstage is noticeably actually a bit wider on the PAW Gold Touch. So in height, I guess, in depth, it's like the notes take a little bit longer to fade away, and there's a bigger spatial type of yeah. It just feels like the soundstage is a little bit more expanded with the PAW Gold Touch. Yeah, it's like the notes bloom a little bit more. They stay out a little bit longer. And it just feels like there's a bit of a wider space, which is soundstage, right? Just a little bit wider, a little bit more height. The SP3000M doesn't have that. It just, yeah, the soundstage definitely feels narrower on the SP3000M. In terms of detail, it's close. I think the SP3000M might be still a little bit more detailed. I mean, it does have 4 AK4499EX DACs on it. So in terms of the black background, if you want to call it, right? The SP3000M has a blacker background. It has less distortion, less background noise, and it should, because it has 4 of the newest AKM DACs, right? 4 AK4499s inside of it. So I think if you just measure distortion level, and whether or not the background is blacker and less noise, yes, the SP3000M still wins there. I think this still has better technical performance than the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch, and it should, because it's the newer DAP with the more newer chipset and 4 of them. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, blacker background, less distortion, less background noise. However, it doesn't necessarily make it a better sounding DAP than the Gold Touch. The Gold Touch being more energetic, more lively, wider soundstage. Even though it doesn't necessarily have the technical performance of the SP3000M. You will hear, like, just comparing side by side, obviously. Like, if you just have this and then you have nothing else to compare it to, you won't even hear it. But just comparing side by side, yes, the PAW Gold Touch has more background noise. It has higher levels of distortion compared to the SP3000M. But it doesn't necessarily ruin my listening experience. I think that the fact is, this colors the tone a bit more than the SP3000M. The SP3000M, as I said, very neutral, doesn't color the tone much at all. You can just hear your music the way it's intended, right? With almost no distortion. So basically, if you just want your music in the most detailed way possible, with very little background noise, very little distortion, then SP3000M is great. But if you prefer your tone a little bit warmer, a little bit more energetic sounding, a little bit more fun sounding, with a bit of a wider soundstage, and you don't care about the background noise and a higher distortion level, then yeah, or the technicalities, basically. If you don't care about as much about just this one having, like, you know, yeah, this one has the signal to noise ratio, the THD. If you don't care as much about that, then the PAW Gold Touch actually it's actually a more enjoyable DAP to listen to. Yeah, so it really depends, and I think this might be the difference between for when audiophiles, right, they look for different amps and DACs and stuff. Some audiophiles might choose a tube amplifier over a solid-state amplifier, and some audiophiles might choose the solid-state amplifier, right? Why? Because solid-state amplifier is technically better. It has less distortion, it has less noise, it is the better performing amplifier. But there's other audiophiles who go for the tube amplifier. Why? Because even though it has higher levels of noise and distortion and stuff, it sounds more fun and musical and engaging. And that's why I feel like that's really the difference between these two. It's like, yes, the SP3000M is technically the better DAP. It has less background noise, it has less distortion. It presents the music to you in a very neutral way, the way, like, you know, uncolored. And yeah, it does so with very good technicalities. So if you want your music presented to you in the best, you know, uncolored way, then yeah, the SP3000M is good. However, I wouldn't say that this is the most fun sounding DAP. It's not, because it's very neutral, right? Whereas the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch is more fun sounding. It's more lively, it's more energetic, got a little bit more soundstage, and even though, like, it doesn't have the high performance levels of the SP3000M when it comes to, you know, the noise and distortion and stuff, but I would say this is the more musical DAP. And I felt the same way actually with the KN-N7 versus the SP3000M, even though this is technically a better performer than the N7, but I felt like, oh, the N7 feels more lively, energetic, more musical sounding, right? I feel the same way about the PAW Gold Touch. Now, comparing PAW Gold Touch to N7, I no longer have the N7, but I feel like the PAW Gold Touch is, maybe it's pretty close between the two, honestly. I think 500 milliwatts, by the way, you might not think it's a lot, but it's actually pretty powerful. And I felt the same way about the KN-N7 as well. I felt the N7 is pretty powerful, you know, powerful enough to drive like more than you would think, given that the output power is only like 500 something milliwatts as well. So basically, I felt like this is almost a repeat of the KN-N7 versus SP3000M comparison again, isn't it? Yeah, the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch, I feel like this is pretty close to the KN-N7 in terms of just tonality and performance. Like, just like the KN-N7, it's got a lot of energy. I feel like it's more fun, it's more dynamic. Actually, the N7, this is the one thing that I think the PAW Gold Touch does have that the N7 might not. I felt like this had noticeably wider soundstage, whereas the N7 did not. I mean, the N7 did feel more lively and energetic and stuff, and a warmer tonality, but it didn't seem like it had necessarily more soundstage than the SP3000M. This one actually does feel like it has noticeably more soundstage than the SP3000M, so I think that might be a difference. But otherwise, I feel like the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch is pretty close to the N7, except it has even wider soundstage than the N7. The power is actually quite similar as well, as 500 milliwatts. The N7 was 500 something milliwatts as well. Of course, the N7 is a lot more pocketable and compact than the N7. I think that was my major problem with the N7. The N7 is a large DAP, you know, it's kind of chunky. This one is very compact and portable. Of course, it's just as thick as the N7 was, but in terms of actually being able to hold it in my hand, I can hold it in my hand a lot easier than the N7. So essentially, the PAW Gold Touch, you can think of, if you guys have tried the K&N7 at all, it's essentially a more compact version of the K&N7 in terms of the tonality and sonic differences. Maybe the soundstage is a little bit wider on the PAW Gold Touch, but otherwise the tonality is fairly similar to the K&N7, which is warm, fun, dynamic, musical sounding. Not necessarily the best technical performer, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something very lively, very musical, engaging, I think the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch and the K&N7 are very good for that. SP3000M, yeah, also very compact and a really nicely detailed neutral reference type of response. If you're looking for just the best technical performing small DAP, then the SP3000M is still the king right now. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Again, both of these are really nice DAPs, especially for the compact DAP category. So Lotoo came out with the GT2. Yes, it is technically better than this one, but it is bulkier. You know, it has that kind of it has like this kind of bulging protrusion on the back of it, which I don't like. I know that they did that for reasons maybe related to the sound quality, but for me, that little bulging protrusion kind of ruins it for me. So like size-wise, like you can, the GT2 is kind of like this, but with that bulging protrusion, which I don't like, and that makes it less compact. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a GT2, just be aware of that. That's the thing that kind of made me kind of hesitate about the GT2. But it is, you know, better technically performer than the GT1, of course. And then compared to the Luxury and Precision E7, well, I'll have a sound comparison test after this part of the video and show you guys the differences. But basically, I'll show you guys the differences comparing SP3000M sound, like playing the same songs, SP3000M versus the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch versus the Luxury and Precision E7 I had before, and maybe the N7 as well. I'll throw into the mix as well, so you guys can kind of try to hear the sonic differences between them. Yeah, I think overall E7 I don't think is necessarily better than SP3000M. I think maybe, like in that video I said, like maybe it's like 10% better, maybe not a whole lot better in terms of pure sound quality, and it still didn't sound like as fun and engaging as the PAW Gold Touch does. So the PAW Gold Touch, I think, still has the edge when it comes to fun, engaging, lively type of sound with a bigger soundstage, I think. Yeah, I think the PAW Gold Touch still beats the E7 when it comes to those areas. The E7 might be technically better, even though it's actually the same DAC. It has two of the AK4497, this one only has one. Technically the same DAC, but I think Luxury and Precision tuned it a little bit to kind of really get the most out of it. So yeah, in terms of distortion, background noise and stuff, I think the E7 is still superior to the PAW Gold Touch, but I do think the PAW Gold Touch still has better dynamics and sounds more fun, more musical still than the E7 does, and I think it still has a wider soundstage as well. So I think you guys can kind of just take that as my subjective impressions of these. Yeah, the most neutral reference type of sound with the best, you know, kind of technicalities, I would say. You know, lower background noise, yeah, like lower harmonic distortion, everything, the SP3000M still wins in the compact DAP category. Then if you guys just care about pure sound quality and nothing else, then E7, yes, is up there, but then the UI is absolutely horrible to use on the E7, plus it's really expensive. So I would advise getting the E7 unless you only care about the sound quality and the swappable DAC modules. And if you have a lot of money, then sure, go ahead. For me, PAW Gold Touch is a good option as well because even though it's older, still very, very capable. Operating system, simple, yes, but very responsive. No issues with this one in terms of lag or anything. It's simplistic, but it does what it's supposed to do, you know, and at least is very responsive, unlike the E7's interface. And the sound quality, very dynamic, fun, engaging, lively type of sound signature with good soundstage. You know, probably one of the widest in terms of like how much soundstage I get out of my headphones and IEMs. I think Lotoo GT2 actually gave me the most, but GT1 is pretty up there as well. So pretty good. Overall, I'm very satisfied with this DAP. I think if you can get it, you know, at a discount, because it is old, it came out in 2018, you can probably find it at a discount. If you can get this one at a discount, then yeah, you might want to pick it up if you like a fun, engaging type of sound signature with good soundstage. But keep in mind, right, simplistic interface, not Android, so you can't install any kind of YouTube or Spotify or anything like that. Can't stream, doesn't have internal storage. But if you're just like purely listening to music offline like I am, and you like to have the, you know, compact DAP, fits in your pocket, decent battery life actually with this as well, because it is running the custom operating system, doesn't take up too much battery life. And yeah, it just sounds really like fun and musical. Then pick it up. Yeah, and the power is okay, you know. Luxury Precision E7, by the way, doesn't have that much power either. So KNN7, Lotoo GT1, yeah, they all have around, like, let's say 500 milliwatts, 600 milliwatts of power. Not too much, but enough to drive most headphones and IEMs on the market. The SP3000M is interesting. They don't actually say how many milliwatts of power they have, but it feels like it doesn't have that much more than the Lotoo. Even the N7, I don't think it has that much more power. I think the power output actually might be kind of similar. But Astell Kern doesn't publish their power specs in milliwatts. They use the VRMS, which I don't know how to convert. But when I'm just testing them, it doesn't feel like this has more power. It feels like about the same amount. So I would say, yeah, even though this should have more power, I think the SC300 had like 1 watt or something. So the SP3000M should have more power, but doesn't feel like it in practice. In practice, they feel like they have about the same. Anyways, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with the PAW Gold Touch. So yeah, it really comes down to what you prefer. Do you prefer more balanced neutral tuning? Do you prefer, you know, just technically like lower background noise, lower distortion? Then yeah, the SP3000M is still great, and the UI at least allows for some streaming apps that you can download. And the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch, yeah, simplistic interface, doesn't support streaming, but nice, lively, engaging type of sound, and good soundstage. One of the widest sound stages I've experienced on the DAP. Probably only the GT2 will surpass it in terms of that. So yeah, not technically as good as the SP3000M, but you know what? I don't mind. You know, still a really nice sounding DAP. And then of course you want to think about yeah, the N7 as well. The N7 has an Android interface, so it actually has more expanded capability than both of these. So if you want to download like pretty much any app that you want, the N7 actually is the best for that out of these. And yeah, the sound signature is honestly similar to the PAW Gold Touch. Like maybe the sound stage isn't quite as like opened up as on the PAW Gold Touch, but N7 sounds pretty similar, honestly. It's got that warm, nice, fun, dynamic sound, but it has full Android on top of that. But it is a bulky device, you know, that's the downside of it. That's why I couldn't keep it. It's just too bulky for me. But otherwise, the N7 is a great DAP, actually, other than the fact that it's bulky. And now there's the N7 Plus as well, so you can actually get the upgraded version with more power output. And then the Luxury Precision E7, basically, you would go for that if you didn't care about the operating system at all, because it sucks. If you only cared about the sound quality and being able to swap the different DAC modules, and you can get the PCM DAC or the AD DAC with it, then sure, go for the E7. I just can't handle that operating system. It's just horrible to use. So yeah, anyways, that's it. That's my opinions. The Astell Kern SP3000M versus the Lotoo PAW Gold Touch. Both great performers. I would say, yeah, if you're looking for a nice, small, compact DAP that you can fit in your pocket, has like really a flagship level sound performance, yeah, it really depends on your preference, you know. It's one of these two I think will be good. I heard the KN is pretty compact as well. Haven't tried that one. And then the Luxury Precision E7 is compact, but with a lot of drawbacks related to the UI. So yeah, I think so far on the market, these are two of my favorite small compact DAPs with the best sound quality. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Next, I'll have a sound comparison test to show you guys, and you guys can maybe see if you can hear a difference or not. Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.
The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew
Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life.